start of an adventure race has always got a little bit of confusion. It helps to split the field up and get people excited. No one knows who's winning, who's losing, etc., etc. Now, the whole point on these races is the point itself, and in this case, it's a CP, which stands for a compulsory point. And they are the gold on this sort of treasure hunt that we send people on. They have to be visited. They define the route. But finding an A4-sized board like that, somewhere in the massive areas that we've got, is a particularly difficult thing. It's also compulsory that you have a reason to race, and our reason for organizing this event is to keep the spirit of adventure alive. A lot of commercial adventure has become so dumbed down to be almost meaningless. So this is an opportunity for us to do something crazy every year. The other reason why we organize the Swazi Extreme is to expose Swaziland. It really is a beautiful country. We've managed to get it a lot more TV time in the last 10 years than it gets for any other reason. Apart from the compulsory points, you also have optional points. All right. And one of the optional points is you don't need to know anything. Knowing something is optional. Like Team Jungle here, who were clueless, absolutely clueless. And I think there was a point there where Bruce actually admitted it, that had we only known. Also very compulsory is to know the difference between a bladder and a map bag. All right? A bladder is you keep your water in for using it later, and a map bag is for keeping the water out and to try and keep your map from becoming paper mache. For us lucky folk, walking is an optional pursuit. But throughout Africa and most of the third world, walking is actually compulsory. And on a lot of these long hikes that we do, it's a great chance to reflect on how fortunate we are. And for competitors, it's a challenge. But for people out there, it's just another day. A T is for transition, and it's where we switch disciplines from walking to cycling, from canoes to ropes. At which point I'm tempted to dedicate the rest of this 20 seconds just to a round of applause to the people who actually second on these events. And sometimes there seem to be a need of transitions, and the organizers don't put transitions there. So sometimes we have people swimming with bicycles, canoeing with bicycles, abseiling with bicycles, all sorts of things like that. It just helps to mix it up and make it interesting. The paddling and water legs is something that we had a lot of fun with on the Swazi Extreme. It's been very useful for us as adventure organizers. A lot of the rivers, the Komati and Baban, the Upper Lesotho, were run for the first time by Swazi Extreme competitors. And after that, we were able to let people know that it was safe. But watercraft actually are highly overrated, and in some of the more recent events, we've actually decided to scrap them and allow people to run the rivers without boats, which is a fair amount of fun. And a case in point was the 2004 event at the Sand River Dam, where for many years local parents have been warning their kids to stay away from the water because there's a higher concentration of crocodiles there than in Kariba or Lake St. Lucia. We gave our competitors the options of walking around 10 Ks or swimming across. No one walked around. Teamwork. This is sport, adventure racing is all about teamwork, and it's one of the ways that we get to mitigate against the risks that are involved, the long distances, the difficult places. By working as a team, that's how a lot of teams manage to get to the end successfully. Light is optional, and in fact, for adventure races, almost 12 hours of every day is in the darkness, and you've got to eat a lot of carrots, helps to get your eyes open. Is that Nikki there with her eyes wide, wide, wide open? A lot of the races in darkness, everything looks different. It's quite tricky. And those sleep monsters that Kobus mentioned start tackling you on the second night. You get some really interesting mental somersaults. It even happens to the organizer. At one year when I'd managed 113 hours on the trot doing the organizing, I nearly wrote off my Land Rover trying to swerve to miss a Megasaurus. I mean, I had to miss it. Imagine turning the last living dinosaur into roadkill. It's also very important to tread lightly. We, on the Swazi Extreme, always get privileged to go through some very valuable environments. And you'll notice I haven't put any coordinates for this particular slide. community relations are also important. Wings are optional, but jumps are not. These have been very controversial on the event as well. We've had some legendary high jumps into legendary shallow pools, and we've had lots of flack from that. But I'm happy to know even Nicholas Mulder, who's out as we speak, racing in the world champs, has survived his jump. It's an expensive sport, expensive to run, expensive to do it yourself. So you really should take every opportunity to expose your sponsors. My finishing point is probably the most important. These individuals who help to keep the spirit of adventure alive are very important. They are the same people who would sign up first to go to war, first to volunteer for emergencies. My appeal to you tonight is to make sure these genetics keep going. Breed with them. If you're married to one, the world will forgive you for having a family of 5. If you spot a single one, don't hesitate. Do it for the human race.